everyone, and welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hope everybody is doing amazingly well today. Before we get started, a quick shout out. Episode 12 of Unicorn Light podcast is up. This week we are talking about candle magic for personal healing and activism. We're talking about how you work with your ancestors and how we can heal ourselves and our communities. So that episode is live and the link is down below. Feel free to check that out if you want to. We would love to have you there hanging out with us in podcast land. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do an energy update, a full moon energy update, which is coming in 18th of March, and it will be the full moon in Virgo. So we're going to give you some interesting tidbits, see what's going on for you around that energy. Very powerful full moon coming in. So we have our little unicorns, they're back. So our first pile is the turquoise unicorn here. Get you a little... There you go. And then the second pile is our pink unicorn here. There she is, or he. And then we have our yellow unicorn here for pile 3. As always, take as much time as you need. The more aligned you are with your own soul, the more these readings resonate. If you need to go ahead and pause the video, do that. Do what you got to do. The links are always down below. And as always, we have a general disclaimer. Please take what resonates. That's wonderful. Don't worry about what doesn't. If one pile doesn't resonate, feel free to check another pile. If that one doesn't resonate, then maybe the messages aren't for you today. But check back with us in the future for messages in the future for you. So let's go ahead and get these out of the way for now. Pile 1 and 2. I mean 2 and 3. So if you chose pile 1, then this is your energy update. You've got the little turquoise. It's so cute here. This is your energy update for the 18th of March, full moon in Virgo. We're going to go ahead and start with Oracle and then move into some tarot a little later on. Let's get you some messages. So you've got a time for healing here. You see that? A time for healing. And then you have nothing will come of this situation. Okay. And then you have Ivy. And what do we have here? The Void. And then you've got your soul shines. That's beautiful. And then you have choose who you are becoming. Okay. So there's a few things going on. It feels like a lot of you are coming into sort of not exactly a new understanding of yourself, but you guys are going to be using this full moon, this energy to really come into balance. And that's really what the Virgo energy is for. As we're also in Pisces season too. So this energy of balancing what it is that you want. And also the energy of growing the way that you want to, moving out of like this sort of safe zone that you have or that you've built for yourself. Now, when we say safe zone, it isn't exactly a safe zone. It's not a comfort zone. It's a safe zone that you've put yourself in order to sort of try a few things out in the world. You're getting a very clear idea of what it is that you want, but the action isn't quite there yet. But this is what this full moon is for. So a lot of you could be in some kind of void status. Now, the void status is actually a wonderful place to be in because it gives you that sort of safe space. And, you're in the sort of womb-like energy. And also it gives you an idea of how to grow things within the womb. Try things on before you get out there. The whole thing that you've got going on, pile 1, is that you don't want to waste your time anymore. There's a lot of times that you've been out there in the world and you've tried things on, you've had different experiences, and all of that is absolutely wonderful. But you want to move forward with integrity, and you want to move forward fast. Now, that's not to say there's nothing wrong with that. And that's not to say in any way, shape, or form that you want to do things quickly and, not thoroughly. That's not true at all. It's just that, you don't want to spin your wheels anymore. You want to make sure that, let's make sure this is in. Okay. Just want to make sure the camera's picking this up. You want to make sure that when you move forward in integrity, which you will do, of course, that you're moving forward with the quickest intent possible. And with these timelines and the way that energy is moving, that's absolutely possible for you. And you sense that in the outer world, in the external world. So it's just a matter of you sort of having everything in place. So some of this is about clarity, and this is something that you've been working on. And in order to have real clarity, you need to be in a space to be able to listen to yourself, listen to your soul about what it is that you really want. And for you, the practical mind is coming in with the ethereal mind. And this is exactly what the beautiful Virgo moon is great for, with this romanticism, but at the same time there's this mutable energy, but there's also this very practical kind of grounded energy to it too, moving forward. So this is a time for you to choose your way forward, but choose the quickest path. And again, this is not about cutting corners. This is about having this clear mind about what it is that you want, and also being in a position where you can try on a couple different scenarios, sort of in this womb kind of energy. So you can try them on without having to be out in the world and physically try them on and go off in different ways, and then having to come back and say, all right, now I want to do this. It's actually a very smart thing to do. It also allows you to really click into a higher sense of self as you're moving through these scenarios without physically having to do them. So this is about you choosing you and having that power behind you in the full moon to move forward in something that you need to do, and something that you want to do. Now, for each and every one of you, it will be different because, of course, these are general readings, but it's something that serves your soul, and it's something that requires you stepping up, definitely out of your comfort zone. So that's why it's really, really important for you to sort of have all your ducks in a row and have that clarity of vision, which is something that you've been working on. So it's not really that. It's just making sure that that's exactly what you want. What you don't want, and what you do want to avoid, and you're doing this beautifully, is that you don't want to rush into things without thinking. You want to take your time and make sure that you're growing in the right way, that you're growing in the right direction. You want to make sure that that you're not choosing your next move out of survival, but again, out of thriving, or what it is that you think that you need to be doing, or what you think your baby step is. This is a way for you to really connect with the universe and say, okay, what really is my next step? What's for my highest good? And take that time and make sure that your next step is in an alignment with everything that you're doing. Now, don't get us wrong. This is not about overthinking in any way, and this is not about stalling or procrastinating. This is the perfect timing that you've got. Now, with you guys, you're either really, really spontaneous about, all right, let's just do this, or you're classic overthinkers. So this is the perfect situation that you've put yourself in, where you're going, all right, I'm not going to jump into this because I feel like my back's up against the wall and I've had it and I need to make a decision. And I'm also not going to overthink it, where I'm going over and over little details and making things much more difficult for myself, and really not listening to the aligned action, and overdoing things and overthinking things constantly, and expelling way too much energy into this when it should be lighter and quicker, right? So this is all about balance for you. Now, no pressure, Pahoan, but if you can get this balance right around the full moon, this is just an act of how you move forward in the future that you can integrate into sort of your day-to-day living. And this is what you're good at. Again, you're really good at, overthinking and sort of putting too much effort into things in a way for sort of, Results, definitely results, but considering how much energy you're putting into it, most of you are like, I should be getting more results. Or, it's not that you wait too long, but you get in a position where it's just, I'm just going to act, and then you do something. So this is a wonderful balance for you to be able to put yourself into this beautiful sort of void-like situation, which feels safe, where you can try things on, and then you get this sort of balance of energy moving forward. And as you move sort of out of the gate, you feel it's smooth sailing. You're not overthinking things, but you're not working from this old paradigm of I've got to do something, I've got to move, that I've just got to do something, everything will fall into place. This is much more aligned, activity going on here. And it allows you to really come into a sense of self and really click into what your higher self wants. Also, it really aligns you for different opportunities coming in that can go in very different ways. But these are wonderful because choices are good for you. Choices are good for you here, and there's a lot of energy that's moving in and around you that just allows for you to take off and again, many, many different ways. But you want to be able to do that in ways that make sense to you, that again are moving towards thriving, not moving towards, I've got to do this, or surviving, or what's my next step, or let's just try this on and see where it goes. Now, there's nothing wrong with that mentality. Again, that's worked for you in the past to a certain degree. But this is just, again, this really aligned action. For some of you, it will be moving forward with what you want to do with a job. For some of you, it'll be just in general moving forward. This is all about the energy that you have in and around the full moon. And you can take advantage of this energy before the full moon too. And definitely, weeks afterwards, a week to 10 days afterwards, going into the new moon energy afterwards. But this is a very activating, sort of very calm, self-assured full moon for you. All about the balance of, and we want to be very clear, the two sides of you is absolutely brilliant. The sort of unpredictable side, the I'm just going to do this side is wonderful. And then the attention to detail that you have is absolutely exquisite too. This is just a way of bringing both of those energies together in a very balanced format that you've never really done before, to be able to move forward again on the highest, quickest timeline for you without in any way, shape or form cutting corners, and to expect the grandest results that you can possibly have. And again, this is all about clarity of vision. Most of you already have that clarity of vision. So now you want to make sure that clarity of vision is taken seriously in the world and garners the best and highest results for you. So most of you have a pretty clear idea of what it is. Let's get you one more. Pretty clear idea of what it is that you want to do, or at least the energy that you want in your life. Something has become quite clear for you. So this is a matter of how you project it into the world, how you move your energy into the world. And this is not a small thing. Again, this is your test run, sort of in the full moon energy. And if you get this right, and you will, you're going to be able to integrate this way of being, which is going to be very successful for you because it's bringing in the most successful parts of yourself, and you're putting them together to move forward sort of in this unison in a way that you haven't done before. So you've got the King of Cups here with a time of healing. Yeah, and you've got the Fool, this really new, balanced version of you coming out. But again, you can go in any direction, but there is a direction for you, but because you have an assumed direction, again, if it goes off in different directions, because you've got that balanced energy behind you, it really does bring in these new opportunities that are wonderful. You've been working on really harnessing your emotionality and letting that guide you. Again, this divine feminine action, the rise of the divine feminine coming in for you. This is the right time for you. You've got this energy behind you. You've got this momentum. You're feeling good. You really know who you are and what it is that you want. And at the very least, for some of you, you know exactly what you don't want. And this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. The timing of this is wonderful. Absolutely. That's funny that you have the Fool and the Hanged one here. King of Pentacles. This is absolutely assured for you in justice. Gorgeous cards. This is assured for you moving forward. The way in which you move forward, again, is action aligned, but it's completely divine action. You've got the divine feminine working for you in this action moving forward. And again, you're very much in control of this sort of this really new beginning, but you're taking yourself out of the old way of being and moving forward in a very discerning direction. But again, being very open. You're neither sort of like giving up or going, let's just do something for the hell of it. Let's just do something. We've got to do something. We've got to get something moving. And again, you're not overthinking it too. You're not trying to figure out where everything's going to lie at the same time. What's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? Anticipating every move. There's definitely a freedom in here, but at the same time, it's guaranteed success. And there's an energy of what it is that you truly want to do, how you're stepping up in a personal way, and in the community too, the sort of life that you want to see. So this is absolutely beautiful, because everything that you have, this clarity of moving forward, it's not just about you, it's about the world that you want to see. Now, there's 100 different ways of going about sort of self-love. For you, it's about absolutely putting your needs first, without a shadow of a doubt. But everything you do is in the shadow also of the community, what it is that you want to do for the community, the kind of world that you want to see. And this action that you're taking in and around the full moon to step up in a new way brings that all into light in a new way that really shifts and changes not only the way, the energy that you put out into the world, but how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, what you believe you deserve. This is a very powerful full moon for you. And you're guaranteed these results because you've got this clarity of thought. You've got this knowing. There's this peacefulness to you where you know no matter what, it's going to be okay. And this is a long time coming for you. You've been working on yourself exponentially in the last 2 years, the last 18 months, the last 8 years really. But, the last 2 years, the last 18 months, the last 6 months, you've really understood the difference between going full throttle and not doing much and pulling back. This is your perfect alignment for balance. Once you get this, and again, you can't really go wrong with this because you've learned both ways. This is going to be a very natural format for you. Once you move forward in this way, there's nothing that you won't be able to achieve. So enjoy this time. Enjoy the power of this full moon. Enjoy the balance that it brings you. Enjoy the direction that it brings you, and this new sense of self-confidence that's coming in for you. That's really sort of downplayed. It's sort of under energy, but it's there and it's building. And again, this is a brand new way for you moving forward. And once this is instigated, this will be a brand new way moving forward for you in the future. And it's going to be very successful for you. It brings in the most successful parts of yourself and has it moving forward in unison. So enjoy this full moon, get out there, do your stuff, and whatever it is and however it is that each and every one of you is moving forward, have faith in the way that you're doing it. This is a long time coming, and you really have this gorgeous energy to shine out there. You have a lot not to prove, but you have a lot to show the world, and this is your time for stepping into that energy. So this is what we have for you, your beautiful energy update. We're sending you so much love and light for exactly who you are and where you are in the world, Pile 1. If you have not subscribed, feel free to do that. We'd love to have you. And of course, hit that bell icon. And do not forget, we have a lot of beautiful things going on. We actually have a free meditation activation for the Divine Feminine, working with the Divine Feminine, signing up for our beautiful newsletter. That link is down below. And we also have, of course, our new episode of the podcast, which is episode 12, I believe, Candle Magic for Healing, Personal Healing and Activation. Sorry, not activation, of activism. All the links are down below. And of course, we have our Unicorn School of Light school too. Lots of free things for us, for you, for us, for everyone. So check out those links down below if you want a little extra support in your life. All right, my darlings, until we meet again, go have a wonderful time for this beautiful full moon in Virgo coming in. There's nothing you cannot achieve. You've got this. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, our beautiful Pile 2s. If you chose the lovely pink unicorn, yay. This is your reading, and again, this is a reading around an energy update for the full moon in our beautiful Virgo that's coming up on the 18th of March. So let's get into your reading. We've got Oracle first and getting into Tarot. So let's see what your messages are, what to expect. Expect powerful change. Well, you cannot go wrong with that first card. That's wonderful. And then you've got prosperity lies ahead. That's beautiful. Loving that energy there. That's the new moon in Taurus. And then you've got spiritual journey, gorgeousness. And then you've got pleasure, loving that. That's 18. And then we've got 9 if we put those together. And then you've got follow through. And then you've got shift the way to new potential. Ooh, this is very powerful for you, pal, too. Loving, loving, loving. So you guys have been going through this really powerful process of figuring out what works for you. You've been taking sort of, for want of a better term, the status quo. And this exists within, the world, even spirituality, what we've been taught. And you've been trying different versions of it on and seeing what sits right with your soul, right? And this has been an incredible process for you. At times you've dipped low and it's been frustrating. And at times it's been alienating because it's like, I feel this way, but everybody else in the spiritual community is saying this and I don't get it anymore and this, that, and the other. And, or you've been separated from family members, or you're not feeling the same way as everybody else. And, but it's not against the status quo in any way, shape or form. It's not against anything. It's about re-emerging and re-understanding what's going on. And, and I've said this before, a lot of the stuff in the, that's been sort of quote unquote standard in the spiritual community, a lot of that is falling away too. Like some of that doesn't really work anymore. And there's other things that's been coming up too. The energy behind what people are saying too. You really discuss it. Is it ego? Is it from the heart? Is it divine feminine? Is this what I need right now? Very, very discerning. And it's been a real trial and error kind of energy for you. And this is something that you've been doing in the last 2 years and again, the last 6 months. But this is sort of culminating now, where it's almost like, all the notes in your head you've come up with, you're really starting to focus in what it is that's working for you, what it is that you sort of believe in, or, to be more specific, where you're willing to put, or where you're ready to put your energy, your focus, what works for you. Now, some of the things that you've come up with and some of the things that you've been, energy that you've been working with, again, it's not necessarily status quo, but it's getting there and it will come in a little bit more. So you are feeling as though you're not as alone. And that's the energy that you're riding on. But this new moon in Virgo comes in with a new sense of balance for you, where you really get to integrate these new ways of being, where I'm like, I love this, I love that, I'm not into that, that doesn't work for me. And you're moving away very much from what doesn't work into integrating fully on a new level what does work. So again, you've been in this sort of discerning mode for a while, and that's been that's been quite a journey for you. Again, ups and downs. Being discerning can be really tough, especially when everybody's sort of leaning the same way, right? And you're not, you're leaning a completely different way. And you've been asking questions no matter what. When anybody gives you energy, you're like, where is this energy coming from? You're not listening to what they're saying. You're listening to where it's coming from. Is it coming from the divine feminine? Is it coming from ego? Is it coming from, so you've been really doing this, and you've been wonderful at doing this, but again, in some ways it's been quite disheartening for you, because as people are talking and what they're saying sort of makes sense, right? In many ways, but then as you're feeling into it, there's a lot of ego and even narcissism, excuse me, coming in there, which is perfectly normal. And a lot of that energy has been coming up in the collective too. We all have it, and we certainly have it in the collective. So all of it coming up, no judgment, is wonderful. But it's also, things that make sense are sort of layered with some ego in there. So you're like, I don't really want to do this. It's not feeling right to me. I like it in a pragmatic sense, but when I get deeper, it's not feeling right. There's more to the story here. There's more to the story here. You've been digging deep. And this is the time that you're able to put everything together. And again, this is not about ticking off what's right and what's wrong. This is not about I'm right and you're wrong. This is not about judgment in any way. This is about figuring out the sort of the greater cosmos, what's going on, what works for you, what you're going to stand for in this lifetime, or what exactly what you're not going to stand for. And also understanding sort of your next move based on the energy that you're bringing in. And again, this incredible discernment. And you really do have this ability to pull yourself back from the macro version where people are getting hyped up about this needs to be done and choosing this reality, this one reality, and getting very narrow and focused with it. You've gone the other way. You've come right out and said, all right, that narrowing focus actually makes sense to me. I love what you're saying, but let's see what's going on with the energy around it, and realizing that the narrow focus is only a tiny bit there. There's so much more going on. So again, you've got this macro version of things going on in your mind. And it's been an incredible journey for you to sort of see things play out and see certain narratives play out in their own way. And they always do. They fizzle out, or they get more intense, and then more of the chaos that's coming in around comes into the collective, and we get to see more of it. And, and all of it's good because it's all coming out. And everybody standing together it's always a wonderful thing one way or another. But it's just a matter of how you're shifting your energy and what you want to lend your energy to. So it's for you, you've taken everything on. I believe a little bit of that. I got a little bit of that. I got you back there. That sounds great. But at the same time, you're not invested in any one reality in one way or another. Again, you've got that macro version where everything really does come together in a significant way. Even if it's, two opposing sides, they're still very much the same, right? And this is what you're bringing into your reality. And what it is, it's shaping the way that you're going to move forward. And it affects every part of your existence, from personal relationships to what you do for a job to how you show up in the world. It's very, very powerful, this momentum that you've been pulling in. And again, this momentum is not for the faint-hearted. A lot of people have gone for one reality and they're pulling in. And of course, once you click into one reality, you'll always be able to find energy to solidify that reality, no matter what it is. You absolutely will, right? That's why there's no real wrong or rights here in the world in general. So you've been making sure that, that your energy is more expansive going into all of this. So it's going to be really nice for you, after having that macro version of self, to be able to choose something for you with all of this energy coming in. Because the one thing about this discernment, this macro energy, is that you're constantly taking on new information and new ways of being just to see how it sits with you. And again, you're not letting your mind get involved in this yet. You are, but at the end of the, it filters through the mind. Of course it does. But all of it in the mind makes sense, right? Pretty much everything you try on makes sense in the mind. You're filtering it through your heart and your system, right? So this is a time for you to really sort of stand in what it is. It's almost like at the end of, and it's not a test, but we're just giving you this as a sort of a visual. At the end of the 2 years of testing everything, you finally get to put everything together and come up with your own way of being, right? And again, it's not about being right or wrong or choosing a side or doing anything like that. It's just about taking the best of everything and the macro version of things and having a sort of a higher version of what's going on, the real nuances of everything that's going on, and really being able to see every point of view. Because every point of view is valid in some way, right? Every point of view, like we said, has a backup in some way, has evidence in some way. Every single point of view does. So, but this is something where you get to choose, right? And the energy of this balance of this full moon coming in is absolutely exquisite for you, because you get to be out there in the world. You get to choose. And again, this isn't about making a decision like, I've looked over this now and I'm choosing this path. I'm only going to look at this anymore. It's not that anymore. You've been so discerning, and coming out of that energy of being so discerning, which again is wonderful energy, but it also has its pitfalls a little bit, because you're always bringing in more energy. You're always, filtering through. You're always working through other people's energy in this way. So again, there's been some dips, some ups, some downs, some frustrations, some alienations, some am I going crazy kind of moments, because when you're looking at the macro version and a lot of people are very micro, then of course you're going to feel like a little bit out of odds, right? So this is a time for you to enlighten up. As I like to say, as we like to say in Unicorn Light Tarot, this is a time for you to bring in that balance, move forward with integrity, the way you would anyway, the way in which you want to, and bring in and integrate that inner child and have a little bit more of that play energy. The thing about being so discerning and taking on this energy, as I picked this up, the Wheel of Fortune came in. You're definitely moving forward. Now, the Wheel of Fortune can go in any direction, 180 here and there, but you're definitely moving forward in the way that you want to, with pronounced movement. Now, this discernment that you had didn't necessarily mean that you weren't moving forward. It wasn't a stalemate per se, but you weren't interested in making sort of leaps and bounds until you sort of refigurated the world, because of course it shifted and changed. Everything that we know has... it's sort of crumbling. That's not a bad thing. We were not doing that great beforehand, right? It's not a bad thing. But you needed to figure out how you worked in that world, how that worked for you, which is perfectly understandable. And it didn't necessarily work in alignment with what everybody else was saying either. So this was a way for you, again, to be discerning. But the way in which you were focusing, it was sort of heavy on your heart at times, Now you get to enlighten up. Now you get to really integrate that inner child, and you've been doing a lot of inner child healing for most of you. So this is going to be a very pleasurable, fun experience where you get to move forward again with integrity with this macro version. And the one thing there's many things I love about this for you, but the one thing that I really adore about this situation for you is that the triggering for you is minimal. When people have conversations and stuff, people can get triggered very easily because they're very much aligned with that one version of what they believe, right? And they don't want to bring in any other information. And again, if that's what you need to do, that's wonderful. There's no right or wrong here. Just go with what you feel is best. But that wasn't right for you. That's not what you wanted to do. So now that you have this macro version, you can go out. You're not going to be triggered. When people say something and you feel as though the trigger is coming on, you're really able to sort of assess it immediately, almost, and figure out what's going on, right? And then you can see it on a deeper picture for you and deal with it as it comes up. So, and that's even if it gets to that point. You're not really at a triggering stage anymore because you've got this macro version. So, this enlightening up that you'll be doing, or that you have the chance to do around this Virgo full moon, brings in this new balance. So when you're out in the world, you have this incredible integrity, this incredible sense of humor that you have anyway, that will be integrated again to move forward. And just things seem a lot lighter for you, right? So you've got the King of Swords. Yeah, you've got your own truth here, and you've got the Six of Wands. There's a newfound celebration moving forward, and you've got your own version of truth. And again, it's not like I believe this or I believe that. It's not that version of truth. It's a macro version of truth where all the truths come in together. I can see your point of view. You've got a point there. I love that point. Let me take that point and meld it with this side. Let me do that and bring it there. I love it, but also holding very much space for what people believe too, because you're not pushing your version of events because it's so open and expansive onto anyone. Totally understanding why somebody would choose this version of reality over that version. It all makes sense, right? It's a personal thing. We've all been through a lot of trauma in the last couple of years. As I've said before on this channel, we may not all be in the same boat, but we are in the same storm. So this is a matter of you moving forward with integrity the way that you want to, and lightening up, getting that balance. And also with all of this energy that you've been working with, the discernment, this beautiful energy, you get to integrate it into the world. The one thing that you haven't been fully done is integrated. Now, you didn't want to be. You pulled yourself out of integrating into the world so you could figure out what the hell was going on. Right? God love you. To figure out your own version of the truth, to figure out, to really connect with the universal version of truth, to get that macro version, right? So integrating yourself back in this beautifully balanced way where you're not going to be so triggered, where you can hold space for everybody in this world, is just a wonderful sort of peaceful, very enlightening kind of energy that you have. But the integration is crucial because this is a brand new way for you to integrate. You've purposely brought yourself out, and to do this work while being integrated, because you started the work. being integrated, and it was too heavy. It was too crazy. You're going down the rabbit holes, killing yourself in your mind. Can't do that, you know. So you had to pull yourself out in order to be able to do this work, which is perfectly reasonable. You've got to preserve some sanity here, right? Because this is deep work that you've been doing. So moving forward now, you get to integrate fully, and this is where you get to move forward in any direction that you want to. You know, you've got this judgment. Oh, Queen of Cups. I love this. And you've got the Two of Wands. Yeah, the way in which you're moving forward too is you're taking your own personal experience and your own personal emotionality and deep empathy for everyone and everything, and seeing everybody's point of view but not being of it. What is it? You know, in this world but not of it. You know, so you're in the 3D world but not of it, right? So, and regardless of where people believe that they are or they are in spirituality, a lot of people are still working from 3D paradigms, which is totally fine, because we are 3D, and we've come here to have a human experience. Now we can bring the 5D into the 3D, but we're here to have a human experience. So everybody's doing exactly what they should be doing, and it's absolutely wonderful. So, but you're here to have kind of a little bit of a different experience in a way. You're definitely here to see and push the limits of what can be done with energy, with beauty, and to push this further. And you're ready to get out there with this new integration of energy. Now, in order for you to do that, you're holding your own truth. And again, this is sort of the macro version of truth, where all of the truth exists. And again, where you're holding space for everybody, and also the empathy. There's a lot of fear, and just there's so much going on in the world right now. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of sadness. This is a way that you can help people. This is a way that you can really work through this too, without getting too heavy. There's a way of staying in the light and in the peacefulness without being all woo-woo about it, and without sort of like really integrating your soul, where you're sort of missing out on sort of the larger picture here too, where it's not all about just great energy. Because if we're just in high vibration, we're in a one note thing, really honoring where you are, where everybody is. If you dip low, that's okay. You're going to learn something there. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. It doesn't always have to be high vibe, right? So this is a way that for you to take this discernment that you've learned, that you've moved through, and to put it on a higher level, to really integrate into the world on your own terms, and sort of move forward the way that you want to, and not to get pulled into other people's energy, or, other people's drama, other people's anything, other people's opinions. It's not your business what people believe and think. It's their business. You can hold space for them, but you don't need to get involved in it. People choose realities based on all sorts of things, based on trauma and fear, how vastly or smallly they see the world, small and vast they see the world. So this is a way for you to have that follow through, to move forward. This is very significant for you. And this balance of the Virgo coming in is really going to integrate and hold you in this balanced form moving forward. So there's nothing that you can't achieve now that you're going to integrate yourself into the world. Again, really focus on enlightening up, get back that sense of humor, get back that inner child if you can, hold that space, and take your time to integrate a little bit, integrate yourself into the energy of the world again. Dive deep and then come back out, dive deep and then come back out, with the emotionality. Look after your own soul too, because you tend to take on a lot of energy. You tend to take on a lot of other people's energy, which is what propelled you to do this work in the first place. You were drowning with all of this going on, all this energy and everything that we've been through. And with all these different versions of truth, it was killing you. You needed to figure out what the hell was going on. You needed to figure out where you start and everybody else ends, right? And this was a successful thing for you. It started off out of necessity, something you needed to do for your own sanity, but it ended up bringing you to a new level of existence. And this new level now is going to be very practical as you integrate back into the world. And again, it's a general reading for each and every one of you. This is going to show up differently. Your avenues of pursuit will be different. The opportunities and the energies that you'll be putting out there and you'll be attracting around this full moon will be different. For some of you, it'll be love. For some of you, it'll be soulmate. For some of you, it'll be a new venture moving forward, something that you want to, a new career path, or something that you want to do in your life. For some of you, it'll be going back to school, and for some of you, it will be moving. It will be physically getting out of a situation that you're in. You're ready to move forward. You're ready to open that up. That real expansiveness that you've been holding tight onto in order to figure out some stuff now gets even more expanded as you fully integrate yourself into this world of ours on a completely different term. Let's get you one more tarot. It's One's Feeling said. Yeah, so you have like the Three of Swords coming in. So you really get to see people's pain. Yeah, you really get to see people's pain, and you really get to see why people make the decisions that they make. And there's a lot of empathy around that. There's a lot of understanding around that. And there's a lot of transmuting energy around that also, where you're able to not only focus on and really understand why people make these decisions, why people make any decisions, or why people have beliefs, but you're also able to transmute the energy that's in and around it, because a lot of reason why people make decisions is out of fear, trying to narrow the world in order to make sense of it, which is perfectly natural. Especially with what we've been through, perfectly natural. But this is something, that energy that you can transmute for people. And, even if they don't ask you to do it, because it's not up to you to transmute energy when people have not asked you to do it, but you're able to do it for the collective. So this is something that you can do on a new level now, starting in and around the energy of the full moon. It's a very expansive time for you. It's a very powerful time for you. It's a personal power time for you. You've been kind of on the outskirts looking in for this discerning energy, and now you get to take, put 2 feet back in and get to dive deep back into this energy, but in a brand new way. And it's not in a protective way either. You're open to everything. You're open to the expansiveness. There's a celebration here. There's a lightness, sort of for the first time properly. And again, there's a real understanding and deep empathy for people and why they make their choices. And this is an incredible kind of sort of turnaround for you too. Not that you were judgmental before, not at all, but it was tough for you to sort of counteract this energy. It took you down a little bit. Now when you have this incredible, vast amount of understanding about what's going on right now, it just gives you this peace and this, and also it connects you to the human spirit, because we are human. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to make a ton of mistakes. We're here to F up as much as we can, so we can really figure out how to be better people, and how to do this right. And not even everybody's here for that, honestly. Some people are genuinely here to uphold old paradigms that are falling away. They're absolutely here. That's what they came for. That's it. And that's personal integrity. That's personal choice. Everything gets to be the way it is because the Earth is a free will zone. But you're here to see it all. You're here to experience it all. And this is a new way for you to be able to do this. So it's a very exciting time for you moving forward. So go be you on this full moon. And go have some fun to integrate all of this energy with as much fun and as much lightness, honoring your soul as you possibly can. So that's what we have for you. Very, very powerful time for you, Pal 2. We're sending you so much love and light for exactly who you are, where you are in the world. Go be you. Do not forget we have episode 12 of our beautiful Unicorn Light podcast. We're talking about candle magic and activism and personal healing. And of course, we have a free divine feminine activation and meditation. If you sign up for our beautiful newsletter with all magical insights and offers and courses and things like that, you get that. That link is down below, and we have other stuff down below too. So go check it out. Lots of ways to support you. Until we meet again, Pal 2, go have a beautiful full moon. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, beautiful Pal 3, if you chose the yellow unicorn, then this is your reading. And of course we have insights, energy updates for the full moon coming in March 8th. No, I just made that up. March 18th, and it's in Virgo. So we're going to start off with your oracle and move on to tarot. Let's get you some why can I not speak? Some messages. Your dreams need a practical plan. Wow. It's just getting worse. Full moon in Taurus. Might be having a stroke here. No, I'm not. Okay, and then don't let your past hold you back is your second card. And then you have the Mountain, beautiful. And then you have Resilience, 21 or 3 coming in. And then you have Unstick the Stuck, and then Inflow with Money. All right, so pile 3, you're moving forward. You're moving forward. So for some of you, there's been a little bit of disheartening energy around you, trying to figure out what you want to do next, or you have a very clear vision about moving forward, but about what it is that you want to do, but you don't know how to get there. And it's been something that's been a little bit overwhelming for you, but you've been chipping away at it, and you've been getting there, and you've been, there's missing pieces of the puzzle just a little bit. Not in your energy in any way, shape, or form. It's the way in which you're approaching the energy of success. Now, most of you do have a practical plan moving forward. That's not really it necessarily. It's just an energy of success. So in this full moon, you really do get to reassess what success means to you. You also get to reassess how you believe you act in the world, or how you're stepping up in the world. A lot of you can be very, very hard on yourself about, excuse me, not being further along than you need to be, or you feel as though you need to be. And, it's a timing element for you guys. And actually, you're incredibly successful, and you're on the precipice of something really wonderful. And what it is that you want to achieve is not too big in any way, shape, or form. You're able to get there. It's just a shift in perspective, a shift in energy. And that shift is coming in and around you. It's, there's going to be support for you around this Virgo moon that has the expansive energy, but has a practical plan around it too. But also really shows you how far you've come. Now, the one thing that we want to do, we're going to suggest this to you, and we always do this in Unicorn Light Tarot. We like to give you practical advice and support. But again, however you take this information is up to you. There's a million different ways to do things. But we do want you to take some time out, if it feels right, with your intuition, to really celebrate where you are and how far you've come. It's almost like you never really give yourself time. Even if you've achieved something, you celebrate for a second and then you move on. What's next? What's next? This is a time for you to celebrate exactly how far you've come. And you're about to really steam forward in a lot of different things, right? But, you've stayed the course. You've chipped away at things, even when things were, really hard and overwhelming, and you didn't know what was going on. And even though you had a clarity or vision of what you thought you wanted, you also realized, or you had an inkling, that the energy, you were still transmuting some old energy. So not that you were being held back per se, but you couldn't really have a clear vision of how to get there yet. But you still chipped away at it. You didn't give up. You were still discerning with your energy. You still moved forward. You still worked through the frustration. You still allowed for those ups and downs, and you still worked through it. So please celebrate how far you've come and the energy that you've put into your life moving forward, because it does deserve some celebration. And when you're in that momentum of celebrating you'll really not only see how far you've come, but how clear your vision is for the life that you want. When you really clear out the old, you really can click into this energy that you want in your life. Now, even if you can't, pick the 4 things that you want. I want a house, I want this, I want that. Even if you don't know exactly what that house will look like, or exactly what your life will look like, that's fine. An expansive vision, that's perfectly reasonable. You will still be able to discern and really figure out the energy that you want in your life, the kind of beauty that's in and around you, the kind of energy that you want to portray in the world, the kind of person that you want to be, the kind of person that you want to be and step up for and help other people. Of course, put your energy first too. You're not doing that martyr stuff anymore, pile 3. But at the same time, you do have that clear vision of what the world wants to look like, how you want to see the world, how you want to step up in that world, and the kind of presence you want to be in this world. And not only that, it really is, you really are ready to step into that energy. You really are ready to move forward in this. And all of the frustrations, all of the ups and downs, and there's been a lot of ups and downs for pile two, all some ups and downs, pile two, but very different energy and very different sort of momentum. You know, you've had this momentum moving through, and you've never, not once, given up. You've had that resilience, even if, you know, you were chipping away at stuff and you didn't quite see the results that you wanted, or you started off with something and, you know, it didn't quite pan out the way that you wanted. You kept that faith. And you knew that all the integrity that you had with that clarity of vision, it was going to come in for you. So this is a kind of payoff for you around this energy. This balance that's coming in for you comes in for this really sort of nurturing support that you really do need. And that little bit of extra confidence to say, you know what, celebrate you. Everything that you've done is moving you forward. It is going to have these tangible results that you're going to be able to see in the external world. Hold on for just a little bit longer. Hold on. You've absolutely got this. Do not start, you know, doubting yourself now. Just move forward. You are a lot further along the road than you're giving yourself credit for right now. If you can give yourself a little bit of time and space, and again, celebrate yourself in this moment, you'll be able to see how vast, you know, this journey has been for you. It is not a small journey. You have come full circle, and you are definitely ready to, you know, you're further up that mountain than you could ever possibly see. You just need to open your eyes to yourself in a completely different way. And, you know, this full moon offers that information around you. It offers that energy around you. There's a peaceful, expansive energy. But there's a practical kind of romantic energy too. But there's a practical way of moving forward with this full moon. And it's almost like sort of this wave that picks you up. But you're happy. You're happy on this wave. You know, you're not afraid of drowning. You're not afraid of anything. You can swim really well. And this wave is picking you up, and it's pulling you. It's pulling you into with this momentum in a way that you haven't quite had yet, right? So this is going to be a great full moon for you. And again, as a general reading, it's going to affect each and every one of you slightly differently based on the energy that you've been putting out or what you've been focusing on. But the energy will be the same for each and every one of you. This momentum of really moving forward in this sort of new energetics coming in. So for some of you, this is really about the financial aspect of moving forward in a way that makes sense to you. And building sort of a better world that's tangible, right? Which includes finances. But doing things on your own terms, doing something that you want to do with it. And of course, you know, it's not that it's not easy, but, you know, this takes a little while to build up. This isn't necessarily completely and totally overnight. When you're working on your own terms like that, energy needs to build. You need to grow. There's a sequence of events that happens. But once the flow is there, you start to pick up momentum. And as you start to pick up momentum, which is what is opening up for you, it's almost like a portal is opening up for you. Now, you've had portals in the past, which is, you know, you started realizing that you wanted to do something different in your life. That was a portal that was open, that activated something. This is a portal of going through sort of the next doorway, in a way, onto the next path. Let's see what we have for you here. You've got the King of Cups, absolutely. And you've got the Knight of Cups, this energy of really... okay, you've got the Four of Swords here. Let's see what we've got. And you've got the Seven of Swords. And you've got the Six of Wands. Okay, so you've got slightly different energy coming in, but it's wonderful. So, and this energy here, please don't let your past hold you back. So, you know, there's been some doubts about moving forward, which is totally fine, about whether it's going to happen and this, that, and the other. And it's not because of your lack of resilience, definitely not. But it's also, you've been working on some personal stuff too. As you move forward and as you step up, we all know that the universe works like this with each and every one of us. As we step up, more personal stuff comes up for us because we need to be able to release it so we can be expansive and be ready for the next step, right? You know, the minute you get out of your comfort zone, sometimes it gets tough for a little while. Now, you get through it, absolutely, but the universe usually puts in a little spanner in the works just to test you a little bit. Do you really want this? Are you ready for this? You know, and you've been there, you've been resilient through the whole thing. But sometimes, and it's totally reasonable, it's absolutely human, you know, as you've been in this resilience stance, you know, and the universe has been testing you. It's been throwing things at you. Sometimes you take it personally, which is what we're all apt to doing. And of course, you start doubting yourself. Maybe this isn't the right path. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe it should be easier. And this is all easing up for you, knowing that, nothing gets delivered per se right away just like that. There are always ups and downs, especially when you come out of your comfort zone, like we said. But you do move through them. The universe will give you a couple of little tests. That's fine. You will get through them. You don't need to see anything more into that. It doesn't mean that the universe is saying, oh no, this isn't the right path for you. And it's not trying to clear you from that path and put you on another path. It's just clearing out old energies so you can step up and be that person that you need to be to bring in what it is that you're asking for. So as the universe has been working with you in that way, there's been a little bit of feeling confused about whether this is really your path. So what happens for you around this full moon is absolute clarity. It is your path. There's been a couple spanners in the works, but you're not going back into doubting yourself, into the spiral of concern, right? Instead, you know that you're moving through it, and you can see on the other side of the mountain. You can see the other side of what that entails. And what that entails is exactly what you want. And you know that you're about to receive it. You can feel it. There's a celebration coming in. Again, celebrate yourself now so you can see how far you've come. That way you can sort of come into the sort of macro version and really have this expansive version of this journey that you've taken. When we're in the journey, we tend to be blindsided a little bit because, this is happening. Oh, I can't take any more, which is totally fair enough, but if we're coming out and we're seeing this with all the nuances and everything that we've been through, we can see that, oh, this is a pattern. I need to go through this. I need to release this to move forward. It doesn't mean that the universe is going to keep piling things on top of you and you'll never get out of this and this will never end and you'll never get what you want. Not at all, right? Keep the energy, keep the faith. Your intense, incredible emotionality and your version of events, the way in which you work, how you are able to sort of transmute old energy too, and old emotions that's coming up for you too, and moving ahead in that way, but also having this incredible empathy for yourself and for others. Now you have incredible empathy for others. We want you to bring it back to yourself. And in this way you have something in common with Paul too. Again, very different energy, very different path. Also here, having faith that you will have the resources in order to move forward. Now, Virgo is a very practical sign. They're also very good at what they do. This energy is going to come in for you too, to lend that sort of practicality to move forward, to make the right decisions, to bring in the kind of resources that you need to move forward. Because some of this is very practical. You need resources for startup. You need a resource. You need a payoff at the end of the day if you're out there doing your work, right? Yeah, everybody's got bills. Everybody needs to pay. There's nothing wrong with it. Money's lovely. Success is wonderful. You can have all of this in the spiritual community. You can be insanely spiritual and still have and meet your needs and help everybody out because you have resources. So you can be one and the same. You don't have to choose one or the other. You don't have to live in abject poverty in this lifetime to be a spiritual person. And this is something that you've been working on too, working through the energy of deserving what it is that you want, right? And this is really culminating and coming into a huge amount of harmony, this beautiful harmony that comes in and around that's supported in this full moon, where you're really saying, you know what, I do want this and I do deserve this. And, and I do have a new relationship with money and finances, which is something that you've been incrementally working on, by the way. It's come up for you before and it's been deep rooted. It was actually in your, not just your psyche, but it was in your bloodline. So this is something that you had to go in and clear out as a relationship stance, your relationship with money and success. But you've been doing that. So this is the way for you to step up sort of in a brand new way and say, no, I do want this and I'm ready for it and I'm good at what I've been doing. I've been chipping away at this. I'm celebrating myself. I know I'm good at what I do. And not only that, but the work that you're putting out there is unique. It's individual. Yes, we're all one in the universe. We're all one on Earth, without a shadow of a doubt. But we all come in with separate soul contracts. We all come in with separate traits and beautiful things that we can do. We all have our own separate gifts to come in, and we're all completely and totally unique. No one's above or below, but we are unique. We come into this life alone and we leave alone, right? So, you've really come into this inhabiting, like, purely on all level, practical level, spiritual level, about what it is that you're here to do. And for a lot of you, it's got a lot of creative energy around it, and you're really good at what you do, and you know that now, and you're dedicated to it. You're ready to put it first, and you're ready to say, I'm going to make money from this. So this energy here around you in this full moon coming in really sort of is expansive. It allows you to step into this new energy with claiming what you want, knowing that you can get it. This new relationship with money that you've been working on, again, incrementally, you really get to cement, you get to solidify around this time, which is a cause for celebration, right? Because you're moving out of this old stance of like, all right, I'm stepping up, and then the universe gives me spanners in the work. I'm stepping up, spanners in the work, It's been like that for a while for you, stepping up, spanners in the work. But the one thing that you've sort of forgotten, or that you're tapping back into, that you've been stepping up the entire way. Of course, when this keeps happening, you're going to focus on the spanner and the works part, right? Because it's frustrating, and it feels like it's, you're moving forward and then it's slightly stagnant, moving forward and then it's slightly stagnant. But this is a new way of being, where you're really encompassing all of this energy. And it's sort of a takeoff time for you too, but it's really standing in your energy, and this is very peaceful energy of knowing what you want, knowing that you can get it, knowing that you've done the work to get it, knowing that you've stayed there in that resilience and you've done what you've needed to do. Sure, you've had your ups and downs. That's perfectly natural, but you've stayed the course, right? And you worked through everything that you needed to work through. And now you're ready to step up. And it's not a small stepping up. It's a big stepping up, right? You're ready to put your practical plans in action. And you're ready to really put yourself out there and say to the universe, all right, I'm ready for this big next step. This next step for you is not going to be baby. It's going to be big. And you've got all these components around you now that is setting you up for success and celebration. So let's get you just a couple more cards. Let's see what we have for you here. Get you just a little bit more information about this full moon coming up for you, and then we'll send you on your way to go have a fabulous magical life. Let's see what we have for you here. You've got the Seven of Cups and you've got the moon. Yeah, this was about the moon energy. I'm not surprised. This was about things being revealed to you that were not necessarily hidden. But this was about discovering what it is that you really, and having confidence in what it is that you wanted to do. And this was a divine timing element for you. You're very talented in many different ways. You really needed to have confidence that you could do something, and your talents really died. A lot of your talents and a lot of your traits actually really lived sort of not necessarily in the darkness, but in the hidden aspects of you. So you needed time to really shine some light and pull them out and see what was going on. You needed time to go within. And you needed time to really, with that resilience, to build this sort of confidence of, no, this is what I want to do. I'm focusing on this. This is what I want to do. I can do it. I'm absolutely ready to do it. So there was a divine timing element with you guys in pile 3. And this divine timing element is sort of, it's tick-tock. It's ready to go. It's ready to go, and you can feel it. This movement forward around this full moon is like you've delved deep now. You know what you're doing. You have a clear vision of it. You're secure in what you're doing. You know you're good at it. And you're choosing that. You're choosing you, and you're ready to implement this brand new, in a way, beautiful energy that you have in and around success and money. It's been redefined for you on your own terms, outside of your bloodline, outside of your past. You're ready to transmute the old. You know that, you've gone through this, somewhat frustrating sort of loop of stepping up, baby steps again, and then frustration, because, spanner in the works, and then keep doing it, and then wondering if this is the path that you're supposed to be on. But you persevered and you said, no, this is the path that I want to do it. And don't think for a second that the universe has not been testing you. It's not that the universe doesn't think you can do it. They want to know that if you're going to stay the ground, because you can do so many different things that if something was like, this is frustrating. I don't know if this is going to work out for me. Let's choose something else. You've done this in the past, pile 3. You know you have. So the universe keeps testing you to make sure that no matter what, you're staying on this one path, and you're telling the universe that you want this one thing. And again, it can be an expansive thing. It can be beauty. It can be harmony. It doesn't have to be this one thing. But for some of you, it's this one way of moving in the world, right? So they keep stepping up. They keep having you step up, and they keep testing you. But you passed all of those tests. You haven't said, all right, well, and listen, you've never given up. But you said, well, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do. Let me go off in a different direction. Then a little bit of disillusionment came in. You have stepped up at every way and said, it doesn't matter what you give me. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to keep doing this. So this is your payoff on this moon, and everything that you've rediscovered about yourself, you found from the darkness, right? There's an incredible amount of power in there, incredible amount of power. And coupled with this emotionality, this really, really deep-seated emotionality that you absolutely have gone in and figured out because you had to, because you worked in the darkness, right? You're able to transmute and able to see. And again, this incredible humanity, this incredible, working with different versions of empathy too, the empathic side of you, why you were empathic, the kind of energy you were picking up on. This is deep stuff that you've been doing. All of this energy gets pulled up and gets integrated and gets supported in and around this full moon. So celebrate yourself, how far you've come, right? And your resilience, because it's been absolutely inspiring. Stay the course. Stay very clear about what it is that you want, right? Don't go back into old habits of like, oh my goodness, this isn't going to work out for you. If there's a moment in time where things seem halted, right? It isn't. It isn't. There's a divine timing element coming in, but stay the course. Stay the course. Do what you got to do right now to keep yourself afloat, but it's all going to shift. And celebrate as you move in. Keep that energy lighter. Know that everything's going to be absolutely okay. You've absolutely got this. You've worked really hard at this. So it's all about, and for this, keeping your vibration high, just being honest with where your vibration is at. It's totally fine for you right now. You really have, it's all about your focus and knowing what it is you want. Keep focusing on what you want. If your vibration dips, that's fine. Just keep focusing on what you want. Don't you dare doubt yourself. Just keep focusing on that one thing that you want. Even if it's beauty or humanity, it's fine. It can be as expansive as you want. No one's asking you to tunnel or narrow your vision. But at the same time, hold the faith. It's all coming in for you. There's a nice, lovely shift of celebration. Keep up that energy of celebration and celebrating you. And it'll come in very quickly around this full moon. So go be you. That's what we have for you, pile 3. We're sending you so much love and light for exactly who you are and where you are in the world. Thank you for joining us today. If you feel like subscribing and hitting that bell icon and giving us a thumbs up, that would be wonderful. And of course, we have episode 12 of the Unicorn Light podcast. We are talking about candle magic for activism and personal healing. This week, the link is down below. Check it out. It's wonderful. And of course, we have a free beautiful meditation and activation for clicking right in and activating the divine feminine and that receptive energy. If you're looking forward to that, or if you're interested in that, sign on to the Unicorn Light newsletter for more insights and magical beauty. That link is down below. Thanks again for joining us. Come back, see us soon. Go have a beautiful full moon in Virgo. Until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.